Year 2150. Humans had learned to travel between stars, but their greed and poverty had followed them into space. Far away in the universe, there was a strange and lonely moon called the Green Moon. From a distance, it looked beautiful, green, calm, and full of life. But this beauty was a lie. In reality, it was a deadly place. The air on this moon was not made for humans. There was no oxygen. Instead, it was filled with poisonous dust and dangerous bacteria. If anyone breathed this air without a helmet, their lungs would be destroyed in seconds. Deep inside the forests of this toxic moon lived strange creatures. Inside their bodies grew rare gems called Orlac. These stones were incredibly valuable. Even a few of them could make a family rich for generations. If you enjoy intense science fiction stories like this, you're in the right place. So let's begin. In the silent darkness of space, a huge ship moved slowly forward. Hanging below it was an old and damaged drop pod. Inside the small capsule were Damon and his daughter C. The space was tight and the tension was heavy. Damon kept checking maps and coordinates again and again. He was fully focused on the mission. C, on the other hand, wore headphones and kept writing, trying to stay disconnected. Damon snapped at her and said, "Take those off. We're close to the drop point. Pay attention." C reluctantly removed her headphones. Damon checked her suit straps and warned her, "This mission is everything for us. If we get those Orlac stones, our debts will be gone. Just make sure your suit stays sealed. The air outside will kill you." Suddenly, the ship's system gave a signal. Damon took a deep breath and pulled the release lever. With a loud mechanical sound, the capsule detached from the ship and began falling into space. At first, everything was quiet. Then the moon's gravity pulled them down faster and faster. As soon as the capsule entered the green moon's atmosphere, it began to shake violently. Warning lights flashed. The metal body screamed and rattled. Outside, the pod cut through toxic green clouds like a burning meteor. Damon shouted, "Brace for impact!" Moments later, the capsule crashed into the forest of the Green Moon. The engines shut down. Silence returned. Damon was drowning in debt. This mission was his only chance. If he returned empty-handed, he would be killed. Fear of death didn't drive him. Desperation and greed did. They stepped out of the capsule and saw a thick jungle in front of them. It looked calm, but death filled the air. Carrying their equipment, Damon and C moved forward, searching for the precious stones. As they walked deeper, an eerie silence surrounded them. It felt like something unseen was watching them. Soon they found a dead body lying on the ground, still inside a spacesuit. It had been there for a long time. It was proof that many others had come here chasing Orlac, and many never returned. Damon carefully searched the area. Then they found their first real clue. Orlac's stones were not mined from rocks. They grew inside the bodies of strange, fleshy creatures. Damon worked carefully, like a surgeon. One mistake could destroy the gem. C watched closely. She knew this dangerous and disgusting work was their only way out. The gem was tangled inside flesh and veins. Pulling it out roughly would ruin it. Damon poured a special chemical, slowly melting the tissue around the stone. He reached inside, cut carefully, and after great effort, finally pulled out the gem. "This one stone is worth about 10,000, Damon said. Relieved, C replied, "That's enough to clear our debt." But Damon interrupted her. "No, this will only pay for our travel in the pod. The interest on our debt is huge. We didn't come here just to survive. We came to get rich." Worry filled C's face. She knew a large ship would return at a fixed time to pick them up. If her father became too greedy and they missed it, the ship would leave. There would be no second chance. They would be trapped on this deadly moon, left to die slowly in its poisonous air. After some time, C walks away from the camp and goes a little deeper into the thick jungle. In her hands, she carries 3 or 4 heavy bottles filled with the same chemical her father was using earlier. The jungle around her is completely quiet. There are no sounds, no animals, no wind, only the soft noise of her own footsteps. Suddenly, loud static bursts through her helmet radio. Damon's voice comes through, shaking and full of panic. He warns her that 2 unknown men with guns are coming toward them. The moment C hears this, she freezes and quickly hides among the trees. From her hiding spot, she sees a man named Ezra pointing a gun at her father. Ezra speaks in a rough, threatening tone. He asks Damon who he is and under whose permission he is mining on this moon. Damon instantly understands that he has no escape. Slowly, he places his tools on the ground. Then he drops to his knees. His voice trembles as he says he is not a thief. He claims that he just arrived recently, got lost, and has nothing valuable with him. He says he has no gems, no cargo, and tells Ezra to search everything if he wants. But Ezra doesn't believe him. His eyes carefully scan Damon's boots, equipment, and suit. It's clear to him that Damon is lying. From behind the trees, C watches everything. Her hands tighten around her gun. Her mind races as she struggles to decide what she should do next. Then Damon plays his final move to save his life. He tells Ezra that he knows about something much bigger than a few small gems. He claims he knows the exact location of Queen's Lair, the legendary place said to hold the largest amount of Orlac ever found. Damon says he scanned it himself. He knows where it is. According to him, the amount of Orlac there is so massive that it's not just a mining spot, it's a lifetime fortune. Damon tells Ezra that if he kills him, the secret of Queen's Lair will die forever. But if they work together, they could earn enough money to buy an entire planet. He asks Ezra a simple question. Does he want small leftovers, or does he want the whole treasure? He offers to split everything 50-50. The moment Ezra hears the name Queen's Lair, his expression changes. Greed flashes in his eyes. Every prospector dreams of finding that place. After thinking for a moment, Ezra agrees and decides to go with them. As Damon packs his equipment, he quietly whispers to C. He tells her to follow them silently once they start moving. He says she should stay behind them with her gun ready. He warns her to wait for his signal. The moment he gives it, she must come out and shoot the bigger man. One clean shot. He tells her firmly that she cannot miss. C answers calmly that she understands. The three men begin walking forward through the jungle. At the same time, C starts following them from behind, moving slowly and carefully. Her gun is tightly gripped in her hands. Her heart beats loudly in her chest. Her eyes never leave her father, waiting for his signal. When Damon reaches an open area with no trees or cover, he suddenly stops. Very subtly, he gives C the signal. In the next second, C steps out from hiding and raises her gun. At the same time, Damon pulls out his small weapon and aims it at the men. The air becomes completely still. Tension hangs everywhere. Damon starts collecting all the equipment and weapons. Ezra keeps talking, trying to calm him down. He says they could become incredibly rich together. He asks Damon why he is ruining everything. Damon ignores every word and keeps checking the gear. Suddenly, Ezra's second companion takes advantage of the moment and lifts his gun. In the next instant, gunshots explode. Both men fall to the ground. C panics and tries to fire, but her gun jams. Ezra quickly grabs Damon's gun. Strangely, he does not shoot C. Using the confusion, C turns and runs as fast as she can through the jungle. Behind her, she hears her father screaming in pain. Then, without hesitation or mercy, Ezra fires again, killing Damon instantly. Deep inside the dangerous jungle, C keeps running, driven only by the need to survive. When she finally stops to catch her breath, the truth hits her hard. On this deadly, poisonous moon, she is completely alone. After wandering for a long time, she somehow finds her way back to the drop pod. In a hurry, she powers up the systems. The engine starts, and for a brief moment, she believes she can escape. Then everything goes wrong. With a loud blast, the engine fails completely. Smoke fills the capsule. C immediately understands the truth. This pod will never fly again. She doesn't cry. She doesn't scream. She accepts reality. She starts searching the capsule for food, tools, and supplies. As she packs what she can into a bag, she suddenly senses someone outside. She quickly hides with her gun. The hatch opens slowly, and Ezra steps inside. Without thinking, C fires. The bullet hits Ezra's hand. He screams in pain and knocks the gun from her grip. He demands a medical kit. Pretending to agree, C moves closer. In a quick move, she grabs his weapon and angrily tells him that he killed her father. Ezra tries to explain himself. He says the situation forced him. He claims he never wanted to kill Damon. Desperate and bleeding, he says either kill him or give him the medical kit, but do something. C calmly sets her condition. Ezra must take her to his own capsule and then bring her to the massive ship orbiting the moon. If he does that, she will let him live. Ezra argues that he needs treatment first. After a moment of hesitation, C finally hands him the medical kit. After receiving treatment, Ezra looks closely at C. He sees a burning fire of revenge in her eyes. Instead of begging for his life, he speaks honestly. He tells her that he recognizes that look very well, because he has felt it many times himself. He admits that when he has felt that kind of anger in the past, he didn't feel much regret either. When C asks him if he has a ship so she can escape this moon, Ezra tells her the harsh truth. He says he doesn't have a ship. He explains that his greed for the Orlac stones destroyed everything. First, he and his companions argued. Then weapons were drawn. Shots were fired. In the end, everyone died except him. He tells C that now both of them are trapped in the same situation. Her drop pod is burned out and completely useless, and Ezra's ship is now controlled by the same mercenaries who have become his enemies. There is no easy way out. Then Ezra makes a counteroffer. He says that if C lets him live, the two of them can work together, not because they trust each other, but because they have no other choice. He suggests they steal the ship from the mercenaries. According to him, This is the only way to escape this poisonous hell. C struggles deeply with her thoughts. The man standing in front of her killed her father. Every part of her wants revenge, but she also knows one painful truth. Surviving and leaving this moon alive is the only thing that matters now. After a long inner battle, she agrees to work with him. Once the deal is made, the two of them move forward into the deadly silence of the toxic jungle. As they walk, Ezra keeps talking non-stop. Again and again, he insults Damon, calling him foolish and careless. He says Damon walked into death without proper planning or experience. Every word feels like a knife to C's heart. Her anger grows, but she keeps it hidden. Ezra repeatedly asks her to hand over the gun. Each time, C refuses without hesitation. Throughout the journey, she keeps the weapon aimed directly at him, never lowering it for even a second. Eventually, they reach the deepest part of the jungle. The trees here are so tall that their tops seem to touch the sky. Almost no light reaches the ground. The world below is covered in constant darkness. They stop for a moment to rest. Suddenly, C notices a dark shadow moving between the trees. The moment Ezra sees it, fear takes over his face. In a low, urgent whisper, he says, "That's a satyr. The natives of this moon. We're in their territory. Put your gun down now. Hands behind your head." Without asking questions, C obeys immediately. She lowers the gun and places her hands behind her head. Moments later, the satyrs pass by without harming them. As soon as they disappear, Ezra lets out a deep breath of relief. He says they must follow them. His hand wound is badly infected from the toxic air, and the satyrs, who have lived here for generations, must know how to cure it. They walk for a long time until they reach an open area filled with tall, thick bushes. Pushing through the plants, they arrive at a hidden settlement. It is the satyr village. Ezra begs them to treat his infected hand. Seeing how bad the wound is, the satyrs agree to help. C slowly realizes something shocking. These satyrs were once humans, people who came to this moon long ago searching for Orlac stones and never left. Over time, they became part of this world. One of the satyrs, named Oruf, steps forward and places a pile of precious Orlac gems in front of Ezra. He calmly says, "These are for you." Ezra is stunned. He asks, "Why are you giving these to me?" What Oruf says next makes C's blood run cold. Oruf explains that the tribe's only mother has died. Now they need a new mother to continue their people. The gems are the payment. In that instant, C understands the horrifying truth. They want her to stay here forever. Terrified, she immediately seals her helmet and turns to run. She runs blindly through the jungle, not looking back. Her lungs burn, her legs shake. She keeps running until her body can no longer move. Finally exhausted, she stops. From a distance, she hears strange sounds, soft, wet noises, like bubbles rising through water. Fearfully, she moves toward the sound. When she finally sees the source, her breath catches. Without realizing it, C has reached Queen's Lair, the legendary place holding the largest reserve of Orlac gems. Voices echo from every direction. It feels as if the jungle itself is alive. Flesh-like pods fill the ground, slowly breathing, processing everything around them. The sight is both beautiful and horrifying. Overcome by exhaustion and despair, C collapses to the ground and stares at this alien world. Suddenly, a voice crackles through her radio. She follows the sound and notices a tent hidden deep within the jungle. Slowly and carefully, she approaches it. Her hands tremble as she pulls back the tent flap. The moment she steps inside, someone grabs her gun. It's Ezra. Ezra tells C what happened after she ran away. He explains that when he went back to the satyrs for help, they refused to treat him. With no one else to turn to, he tried to heal his hand by himself. But he made a serious mistake. He couldn't clean the infection properly. Now the poison has spread too far. Medicine will no longer work. Ezra looks at C and tells her the truth. If his hand is not cut off, the poison will move through his body and kill him. C stands frozen for a long time. Her heart feels heavy. What Ezra is asking is horrifying, but she also knows there is no other choice. Finally, with shaking hands, she picks up the surgical tools. Her hands tremble as she begins cutting into Ezra's arm. Ezra screams in pain. The sound echoes through the jungle. The pain is unbearable, but C forces herself to continue. Within moments, the hand is completely separated from his body. Silence follows. Both of them sit there, breathing heavily, realizing something terrible and clear at the same time. The cost of staying alive on this moon has just become even higher. After resting for a while and calming their breathing, they stand up again. Once more, they begin moving forward into the strange, poisonous jungle. As they walk, something slowly changes inside C. The tight knot of fear, anger, and hatred she felt toward Ezra begins to loosen. Without meaning to, she starts talking to him. In a heavy, broken voice, C says that her father, Damon, always wanted her to live a better life. That was the reason he brought her to this deadly moon. He wanted to collect Orlac gems, clear all their debts, and then escape to some faraway place where they could live in peace. But the moment they landed here, Everything went wrong. First, their dream was destroyed. Then, she lost her father forever. Her voice shakes as she says she wishes they had never come to this moon at all. Ezra stays quiet for a long time. He looks ahead as if searching for the right words. Finally, he takes a deep breath and speaks. He says he holds himself responsible for everything that happened because Damon died by his hands. He tells C that she never has to forgive him if she doesn't want to. C doesn't reply. She already understands that Ezra also lost his partner, and she knows that talking about the past won't change anything now. By this time, night has fallen. In the sky, a massive planet glows faintly, like a dying sun spreading weak light over the land. Under that dim glow, the two of them keep moving forward without stopping. Somewhere ahead lies the capsule, their last chance to escape this toxic hell. After some time, they reach higher ground. From there, they can clearly see the area below. Several mercenaries have already set up a camp. They are armed and alert. C and Ezra immediately turn off the lights on their suits. Moving slowly and carefully, they step forward, making sure no one notices them. But suddenly, a mercenary spots them. At that exact moment, something disturbing catches their eyes. In the middle of the muddy jungle sits a perfectly clean glass box. Inside it is a man with pink skin, sitting silently, like a sacred object trapped inside transparent glass. That's when they realize the truth. These mercenaries didn't come here only to mine Orlac. They were transporting this man as valuable cargo. He could be a religious leader from another planet, or someone from a royal bloodline, or someone meant for a terrible sacrifice. Understanding the situation instantly, Ezra makes a bold move. Without fear, he walks straight into the center of the camp and introduces himself as Damon. In reality, he is stealing the identity of the dead Damon. He knows the mercenaries have never seen Damon's face. All they know is that a man named Damon was supposed to arrive here under a mining contract. One of the mercenaries looks at him coldly and says that he is very late. Ezra apologizes calmly. He makes up a story about getting caught in a storm and losing his way in the jungle. Using that excuse, he asks for forgiveness for arriving so late. Before the digging starts, Ezra makes his condition very clear. He says that if they are going to share the money, then he and C must be allowed to board the ship. They need a ride so they can reach the large spaceship that is circling the moon. Makin quickly refuses. He says the ship is already too heavy and cannot carry extra people. If more weight is added, the ship may not be able to fly. C and Ezra immediately argue back. They explain in simple technical terms that the ship's weight can be reduced by removing some parts. The argument becomes heated. Makin grows angry and starts threatening them with his weapon. That's when Ezra takes a bold step. He announces that he is the gatekeeper. He says only he knows the exact location of the treasure. Then he gives a hard choice. Either they take him and C along, even if they have to throw away backup fuel or leave someone behind, or they will get no gems at all. Ezra's risky move works. Makin has no choice. He orders his crew to dump the extra backup fuel to make the ship lighter. The deal is made. Makin then takes them to the place where the gems are hidden. Ezra begins extracting the gem. He pours acid into the hole, reaches inside, and pulls out the sticky organic matter. Slowly, he starts cutting into it. But this was not his skill. This work belonged to Damon. Ezra makes a mistake. The acid spreads and completely destroys the gem. Trying to stay calm, Ezra tells the nearby guard that everything is fine and that they will take out the next gem. But at that moment, C realizes the situation is getting out of control and becoming very dangerous. Ezra moves to another pod and tries again. His hands shake badly. Small mistakes cause acid to spill again, slowly burning the gem inside. Makin loses his patience. Angry and shouting, he says neither of them knows what they are doing. He points his gun straight at them. C steps forward. She tells Makin to stop. She says she will extract the gem herself because her father Damon taught her how to do it carefully. Now their lives depend on this single moment. If C fails, they will be killed immediately. She starts the process, but luck is not on her side. C makes a mistake, and the acid destroys the entire gem. Makin understands right away that they lied. He turns to warn his crew, but before he can speak, Ezra suddenly attacks him and pushes his head straight into the acid pit. Makin screams in pain and dies there. But it is already too late. The other mercenaries see everything. They raise their guns and rush towards C and Ezra. Ezra tries to lie again, saying Makin slipped and fell into the acid, but no one believes him. In that moment, C acts quickly. She throws a chemical bottle into the pit. Thick, poisonous smoke spreads everywhere. Using the chaos, C and Ezra run toward the jungle. Gunshots ring out behind them. They manage to hide in the forest, but one female soldier keeps chasing them. Ezra quickly makes a plan. He tells C to run ahead and distract the soldier so he can attack her from behind. C agrees and moves forward, but instead of running past the soldier, C jumps straight at her. Both fall to the ground. Ezra reaches them, but suddenly a sharp object stabs into his body. He screams in pain, but he does not give up. With all his strength, he attacks the woman and stabs her in the neck again and again until she dies. Badly injured, Ezra tells C to take the gun and run. He says she can still escape, but C refuses to leave him. She goes back, gets medicine, and bandages his wounds. Helping him walk, she takes him to the capsule, where the strange pink-skinned man is already there. The man helps C and kills the remaining enemies. Finally, C and Ezra enter the capsule. The engines start, and they leave the toxic, deadly moon forever, flying into space. And with that, the movie ends. See you in the next video. Until then, keep watching and keep exploring movies.